See this right here? I got a mark on my face somewhere.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see. Uh-huh.
That's from that relationship. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. So that's why I say don't date the crazy ones.
What's up? Welcome to another edition of Locked In. We are locked in, loaded, and ready to talk about all kinds of topics. But I want to say, first of all, what's up, fellas?
Hey.
Hey. What's going on,
So
man?
it's good to have all four of us back. Q is back. Welcome back, Q.
Glad to be back, man.
So we were talking about relationships last week, the last month, I should say. And one of the things we were talking about was dating. And so the question I have for you, because everybody else gave their answer, I want to get your answer to this, is do you think we should take a break when you are dating someone? Let's say that y'all have, did I say the question right? Like y'all had some time to get to know each other. Y'all been together for a while and they all of a sudden want to take a break. What's your thoughts on that from your dating world, knowing that you're married now, but back in the day?
All right, let me make sure I understand this question correct.
And help me, fellas, if I said it wrong. Help me if I said it wrong.
It's a loaded question.
Okay, so all right. So the question is, if I'm dating someone and either she or I are like, let's take a break.
Yes.
Y'all are growing, y'all are working towards being together. That's the whole premise.
Okay.
Make it official.
Okay. I don't think that's a thing. Like I don't think that's a that doesn't make sense to me.
And I was saying this, let me just say this before you continue. I said that because I have some people that think you can, but the majority say, no, that ain't the right thing. So why is it not a thing that you should do?
Because to be very straight and to the point, if I want to take a break, that means I don't want to be with you no more.
Let's be clear. Thank you so much.
That's it. That's it. There is no break and come back to this later or none of that. No, I'm either tired of you or I seen something else I want.
That's it.
That's it.
All right. It's pretty,
Time out.
I mean, but when somebody tell you that, do you think they're just doing it to don't want to hurt your feelings or whatnot? I mean, what is that? Why can't it just be straight up and say, this ain't gonna work. Let's move on. Or do we have a propensity to lie just to not hurt people's feelings? Like,
I honestly, sometimes, man, I think that it might not even have nothing to do with the other person. I think it's that individual that's like they're trying to think of a way out without really saying they want a way out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anybody want to add to that?
I think we all in agreement.
Yeah. And I'm definitely in agreement with you on that one. But I was conflicted about it because I'm getting two different sides, and been dating for a while has actually said it is perfectly okay to take a break. It doesn't mean it's a part of the dating atmosphere. It's a part of that whole thing. And for me, I am pretty much new to dating. So I don't really know. I'll be honest with you, because I didn't really date a lot. I was married for what, 12 years, I guess. I don't remember years, but in my adult years, that's the only person I really dated was her. And then, now I date here and there, but it's like, I'm trying to understand this thing. Like, am I confused?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it what I think that you just don't want to be bothered? You don't want to be bothered,
Yeah. Yeah, that's all that is, man. They want a way out. That's all.
Prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Yeah. So we're talking more about relationships today. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna be real about it. We're gonna be raw about it. So anybody have any bad experiences with their dating relationships that they like to share? Or something, some tidbit that would help somebody else?
Don't date the crazy ones.
So you experienced that?
Yes.
Can you give us a cliff note?
I'll tell you about it. Yeah.
Okay.
In high school, 20 years ago now,
Wow.
but in high school, man, I dated a girl, and um, cool girl. So I thought, and back and forth, a little while, back and forth, on and off for a little bit, taking breaks and all that stuff. But
Taking breaks and all that stuff.
yeah, taking breaks, like what we just talked about.
Okay. You that
And
want to take breaks, or was it her?
I think it was her.
Okay.
Yeah, it was her. Cause it was her. It was her. And one time, you see this right here? I got a mark on my face somewhere. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see.
That's from that relationship. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. So that's why I say don't date the crazy ones. To sum
Put
that all
balls
up.
on you.
Yeah,
Put balls on you, bro. That's crazy. Yes, sir.
Without having to even tell the story, I show you that, and you already know what's up. So
20 years later, you got evidence.
20, yes.
20 years
Well, you left
later,
a
a
mark for
reminder.
life. You will never forget her.
It's a life
Never
mark.
forget,
A
man.
daily reminder. Look, there she goes.
And that's a relationship tattoo.
Yes, sir.
What'd you say? A relationship tattoo?
A relationship
Wow.
tattoo. That's what that is. Yeah.
Were you able to forgive
I
her?
learned. Trust me, I learned. What'd you say, man?
Were you able to forgive her? Have you run into her or what?
I haven't seen her since. I don't think I've seen her since maybe my freshman year at college. I don't think I've seen her since then. So it's been at least 18 years since the last time I seen her.
Wow. She might be a preacher now. She might have changed her life and everything else.
She might be.
Glory to God.
Right.
Yeah, she might be. I mean, her family was a very religious type family. So I mean, hey, she just won't like that.
Okay. Wow, I wasn't expecting that, man. That's crazy. Anybody else got any scary stories?
I don't have a scary story like that, but mine was similar with the break thing, right? Like that was something that was prevalent in a relationship of mine when I was younger. This is probably 12 to 15 years ago. Yeah. And so the decision for the break was the female I was involved with, you know. So I mean, it was a lot younger then. I wasn't as secure within myself. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like I just felt like I needed to salvage or chase or try to secure it and do that. And like I don't know if I told you, I don't know if this was on the show, the last one, but I would have given myself different advice going back there. I would have let it go. And I would have put that energy into self, into self-improvement, into bettering myself, into my relationship with God and serving and things like that. I would have just let it go, you know? So I think, you know, especially during the dating phase, I don't think it's a thing. You know, I don't think it's a sign of a healthy thing. The break, you know, to introduce a break because it does signify somebody doesn't want to be there. And it's too early for that.
Yeah.
You know, there's no commitment. There's no commitment. There's no marital commitment. There's no vows, nothing like that. So there's no reason to salvage something when somebody wants to break. There's no reason for that. You know, to me, it's not a valid reason.
I mean, is it a sign that this person may be unstable?
It might be a sign that person is indecisive or for whatever reason that is, you know. But as far as, you know, you in a relationship, you know, or a committed thing where you guys are talking and then the person wants to break. Well, they no longer want to stick to that commitment for whatever reason that is. And I think you just let it be. Yeah.
Anybody know of anybody that had stories where people like start stalking them and, you know,
you trying to get dark, bro?
I'm trying to get real. I mean, because
ain't a soap opera.
This is the truth, though. But these are the things that I've seen people go through. It's like, man, love can be crazy, and the whole dating thing can be just crazy. But I just want to know, anybody dealt with that or seen someone dealt with that? Or no?
No, thank God.
I ain't seen that.
Okay. Well, I was telling you fellas to do an attachment survey. It's like 4 different styles that they say is based on you as a child, how you will react in a dating relationship. It was pretty interesting. So they have 4 different attachment styles. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was telling everybody to do the quiz, but it said free, and then all of a sudden they want to charge you. And it was only $1.95, but it's the principle of the matter, so I ain't do it. And I know I ain't the only one, but we had one scholar here that actually did it. Made me feel a little low.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it wasn't the $1.95.
Not until you get me a budget. I'm not paying for nothing. Nothing.
The budget, we need a budget.
We need a budget. The budget come up. The budget come up every show.
I done heard about the budget.
Every show.
Budget.
I'm sick and tired of hearing about the budget. You ask me.
Well, do something about it, bro.
You could give me the bill. You could have paid $1.95 and gave me the bill. I probably would have. It don't matter. We didn't do it, but
I want to hear. I'm gonna write it off on taxes. That's what I'm gonna do. Look, $1.95.
Yeah. Do what you got to do. But I'm sorry about that. I thought it was free, and I should have did it beforehand because I did one previously, and they charged me. And I thought, okay, let me type in free, and then it popped up. So with all that said, only one scholar did it. He's an example of how you should do. You should do what you got to do. So let's go to Damien. I want to hear what was your assessment, man? What was your I think they give you like 2, right?
No, they give you like there's a main style that you have, and you kind of have backup style. So it was interesting. The first one, so the first primary style was secure. It was secure, and then the second one was, matter of fact, you know what? Can you see me still?
I see you.
Okay, you see me still? All right.
Yep.
I say.
Oh no, I don't see you anymore.
You don't see me? No. Let me get this. Let me get the results for you real quick. I'm gonna keep it real short.
All right.
So first primary style was secure. Secondary style was fearful, and then the third one was dismissive. But what it is there's like a pie or like a circle, and then whatever the majority of the circle is, that is basically your primary style, and then the remainder is whatever those are. I know that I would have answered those questions differently. Like if I was in a situation where the person was taking a break back in the day, that would have been different. Those answers would have been different. I would not have been insecure, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if my primary style probably would have been something else.
I think this whole breaking thing is one of the main topics we need to come on more because
I think we've talked about like dating is like I think is evolved, right? Like it's this thing because sometimes you talk to people and they're like, I go into a date and I give them my whole resume. This is what I want. This is what I like. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. That type of thing. But then you still got some people who say, "Oh, keep it light." Don't talk about all these things. But I think it's also where you are in your life. When you meet somebody, you start dating. You beginning or you just starting or you established. And you got to think about it. If you are established, you want to meet somebody who's established. You don't want to meet somebody who's a hot, all that stuff. So I think the whole dating scene is evolved. But I think I think our good question is, I know we talk about breaks, but the good question is, do you be upfront honest? Do you wait? Do you hold on? Do you stay up front? Do you wait midway through? Do you wait till you're comfortable? Those type of things. And my vote is show it all up front.
Yeah.
Give it to you up front. Look, because I think dating is just like a job interview almost. Like you're trying to determine if this is the person you want to be with. And I think you should be upfront as much as possible.
So what are some no deals then? If you're doing a whole job interview, what are some no deals that you look for that would just say no, it ain't gonna happen?
I think like example, most of us are in the range. I think Damien's the youngest one up here. But we're in that 40 range. Like you're not gonna meet somebody dating now, generally doesn't have children. Is that a deal breaker?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. No.
You see what I'm saying? But some people say that's a deal breaker. Right. You got children, I don't want to do it. Have you been divorced? I don't want to be with you. That means you can't be with somebody long, without looking at it. That's
What?
what I mean. I think it's what people say.
That's disrespectful, though. You can't hold it on that for real.
That's what people say, bro. I'm not saying that's the right thing.
He's right. He's right. Because I remember now at my current age, if I were to be in the dating scene, on the dating scene, I wouldn't be able to say I don't want nobody with kids, type thing, because more than likely they have kids at this age, this age group, like you just said. But when I was 20 and I was dating,
that was a thing.
That was one of the things. It was like, you can't. Right. So no. He's definitely hitting the nail on the head on those types of things of what people say. And I agree with him. Like, it just depends on that age bracket, because the 21-year-old is gonna say something different from the 50-year-old. So it just depends. It just depends. I think in this age group, a deal breaker might be I don't know, man. I have to think about that.
I think we're at an age where we understand life a little better. So
that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So when you say, when somebody comes to you and say, I'm divorced and I have 2 children, you ask questions. Like you said, when you were 21, you were like, what? But now you're like, tell me a little bit more about that. I wasn't compatible with that person. They weren't goal driven. I found that I was showing up in a relationship and they were not. Like I think we require at this grown and sexy and mature and non-ashy stage. Stage where we can afford good skincare products. You know what I'm saying? Like we got a skincare regimen. Like when you get to that level,
I feel like that was
you start to ask questions, and then you don't. I don't think there's anything that's a deal breaker, unless you're like you're a serial killer, like you're on death row or something, something like that. But like your stories, like even if you have to have, I had to move my mom in because my mom is elderly. That's either worth the conversation. Like I think we've evolved to a point where you can tell a story and generally you have an understanding of life because you're at that point now where you're like,
right.
Right.
I mean, I agree with you on that wholeheartedly, but I got to admit that I don't think that is what's going on today. That kind of stuff ain't going on. I feel like a lot, and I'm just going by just experience from my little dating thing. I think everything is microwave, where if they don't like one thing about you, they'll leave you alone, go on to the next person, or, they don't, it's like, I've heard people say this even online, and like, I don't know how I can date in today's world because everything is like, I gotta have it now. If I don't have it, I just go on to the next person. And I think the problem is social media. We got too much access to social media. We got too much access to things that we can have. And we think about our age. Come on now, we didn't have that growing up. We had to learn how to write those little love letters, or have that phone call. I'm gonna call you at 9 o'clock. Have those conversations. And now we don't have that. Now we have everything that's fast paced. Everything is instant. And I think that's a problem. There's some pros with social media, but then there's some cons. And that's a con because I don't think people really get to know each other anymore. Instead, they go for what they want and they don't really build an authentic relationship first. That's just me.
I think that's when you talk about when you're dating someone and you say that they don't like one thing and they run. I think that's what you talk about, like the signs. Like you don't
red flag.
That's a red flag if you got one thing you're running. And my stance on social media, we talk about social media all the time. Like that.
Yeah, he's not a social media guy.
My social media game is weak, and I'm proud of it. I'm great.
I'm becoming
I get my news from CNN on the TV. Like I don't need to be on the Shade Room and all those other places. Like I don't need all that stuff joining up my brain, and I don't need to talk to you on social media. Like that's my thought. Now there's a lot of beautiful people who are married and happy and wistfully and happy, and wistful bliss and all that type of stuff. They've met on social media. My thought philosophy is just that I don't need to meet you on social media. I'm old fashioned with that. I need to meet you in the park, walking your dog, feeding pigeons popcorn or something. Nah, I don't need to travel with them.
I mean, I think you can meet somebody online. I think if you do it the correct way, I mean, you can meet them online and then build from there. You don't have to necessarily, you can go to the park and do that kind of stuff. But I think that's a pro in a way. In some ways, if you use it right, having these dating apps and things like that could be beneficial because you could find. And I think, matter of fact, I just thought about something. Damien, I think, want to speak on this one.
No, you calling him out, bruh.
What are we speaking of?
We talking about dating apps.
I do. Now, I do want to speak on that, right? Because I am, like I'm working on the content thing, right? So I do pay attention, and everything is social media age. When you're looking at apps, you swiping through, so it's like you're not even looking at people. It's like you're looking at video game characters and you're swiping. I do think that it's important, right? Yeah, like to go back to the question that you said, what is a red flag? I think you have to know yourself enough to determine what a red flag is, right? So it's like if you're a person who wants a committed relationship and then you start talking to somebody and you're getting that vibe like this person doesn't want anything serious, that is, and if you start to see that, right? So if you start to see person has all the same language, that seems to coincide with you seem to be on the same page, and then you start to get a little bit along with this person, you start to know them, and you start to see those signs, red flag, right? If they're telling you something, and then the actions are other than, I mean, the signs are there, But it's like I know myself because I met my wife on a dating app, right? I think that's what he wanted me to talk about.
Yes,
that's where he was going.
Yeah, it's like because I was young, single out here in San Diego.
It's a positive thing.
It's a I think you're gonna find what you're looking for, basically, right? You're gonna attract what you're looking for. If it's not something that attracts you, you're gonna keep it moving. So I think by the time I found my wife, it was like, okay, I had lived life a little bit longer. I've become more secure in myself, and I just knew myself more, right? And I knew what I required. So I was able to make the determination of whether or not, I want to continue spending time with this person or not. I just knew that by the time I met my wife when I was like 30, 31. Yeah, it's like I had already developed like a sense of security within myself. I just stopped caring as much about what people thought at that age. And I just had become more secure about myself. So whether those, I had some instances where, some dates were set up and then the person was like, that was fine. With me, it was fine by that point. I didn't take the rejection of that, too seriously, because I know myself to know like what value that I provided by then. I knew that. Now, earlier back then, I struggled with that a bit when I was young 20s and when I was dealing with situations where the person wanted to break or things like that. I was tolerating certain things. But that's because I hadn't learned to really value myself by that, at that point, but by the time I met my wife, I, lived life a little bit longer. So I become more secure within myself, so yeah, I feel like you just got to know yourself enough. You got to know what is required of you. What do you require? You got to stick with that. You determine what that is. And you got to stay true to that.
Yeah.
Right. You got to stay.
Don't ignore the red flag and say, "Oh, it'll change."
Right. Exactly. Right. You got to learn to see the signs. Be objective about the things that you see, because oftentimes, we could be so lonely or things like that we feel like we need companionship that much to where we'll look past it. But you should, that's the temptation, is to look past it, right? But
I'm a little guilty of that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, I'm guilty of it too. At some point, I've been guilty of that too. Yeah, it's like we didn't look past it.
And I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful. I think the biggest thing you're saying that you're secure in yourself. And let me just say this, by the way, your attachment style. I already knew your attachment style. I know every last one of y'all. Well, I don't know about Q so much, but I know for sure I knew yours would be secure. That's one of the best ones you want to have, actually, because it just says that you're emotionally intelligent enough and different things like that for certain things. Me, I didn't do mine. I know mine is anxious. I can tell you, because it deals with a lot of emotional things, and I'm more emotional. But I also realize it stems from childhood. and I am not good with rejection. I'll be honest. Rejection. Nobody is, for that matter. But for me, it's very hard to feel rejected, and I look at the root of that and know where it comes from. So I know that I need to work on that. I need to go to that root and kind of, I know what it means to feel like somebody's not there that's supposed to be there. Somebody's supposed to take care of me when I was younger. It wasn't there to do it. Like all those things stay with you in a relationship. And so my thing is I tend to want a validation because something too good to be true. I'm like, well, I want to make sure it's still the same. I want to make sure it is what it is because I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be real. And then what happens is I may do something. I might over text or something like that. Or I might do certain things that is like, okay, enough. When I should be secure enough in myself and know that if they say it, it's true. And I don't have to fear if they reject me. Now, if they reject me, I have to also understand that this is a part of life and these things happen. And I know that God can do it as well. So it's a learning thing for me. And I was just honest about that. But that thing for wanting companionship and all that stuff, I'm there. I want companionship. And so I got to be careful because when you want companionship, you might go out there and do things you shouldn't be doing just to fill that void.
Right.
And that's a really good thing.
Yeah. So I think too, like I want to add to, the rejection part. I have struggled with that in relationships that I have had. I felt like I gave it because I've always been a committed person. Like I ain't never been out here just doing whatnot, But my biggest struggle at the end of those relationships was me feeling like I wasn't good enough. Right?
Yes.
That's what that feels like, And it's just like or feeling like all the effort that you put in was wasted. All the work, the consideration that you gave was wasted. And it's not the case. It just means that the situation was over. It just, it has run its course. And it's something that you could always learn from. But the end of that relationship, it doesn't say anything about who you are as a person, or your value as a person. I think that is something that you really have to understand. It's like you have the ability to learn from mistakes or whatnot. If you need to change or whatever, it's all opportunity at the end of the day, And it's like, okay, your time in that relationship has run its course. Well, you get time back. Now use that time wisely, right?
Yeah.
Use it. Reinvest it back into yourself. It was, you reinvest it.
I think
you were once invested in that relationship. Now go ahead and invest it somewhere else. Serve somewhere. Figure out yourself. Go to the gym. I always tell my young guys, go to the gym, man. If I can tell myself back in the 20s, go to the gym.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Go to the gym, and then therapy, things like that. If you need it, put them on resources. But yeah, man,
I mean, one thing I can say about me is that I actually try to do the work to better myself, because at the end of the day, we are not perfect. We all have our different things and issues. And I think the greatest thing that I like is that we're able to figure out what it is so that we can work on it. Now, I can't get down with somebody who know they got this problem and don't want to work on it. That's a red flag that I don't want to be bothered with, because I am more so I will date someone who's showing effort and that want to work on whatever area it is, because I know that they probably got areas they need to work on. And so it becomes a thing of, are you committed enough to do it? And I think it's so important as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Any thoughts over there, Q?
No, man, I'm just listening. I'm listening to y'all chalk it up, man. I definitely, I would say the one thing
have you dealt with that rejection or anything like that? Like, do you?
I
feel like you're more secure as well when it comes to your placement. What do you call it? Attachment style.
Attachment. Yeah.
Am I right in that, or you had moments where you just it wasn't?
No, I would probably honestly say I'm more secure in that, and I think I probably, as far as I can remember, I've always been. Don't really know why. I guess that's just it's just how I'm wired, how I'm structured, how
I'm jelly.
I want it. Listen, I'm flawed in a whole lot of other ways, so don't.
I know, yeah.
But no, man. It just, at least for me, dating wise, it was like, okay, all right, on to the next one. And I think that honestly, because I can remember, I remember, I can hear my dad's voice telling me there's plenty of fish in the sea. So I think the hardest relationship that I think I could remember having was a girl I dated in high school, and we broke up. And I was really into this girl because I had been after her for a long time. You know, when I say long time, I mean like a year or two.
Ooh.
But yeah. And yeah, I did. And I remember when we broke up, and I remember my dad saying, "Man, you ain't even got to college yet. You gonna meet girls from all over the world." he's like, "What you worried about this for?" So, so I think like going from there, and then to I ended up marrying the girl who I had a big crush on in middle school. So, and who would have thought that I would have ran back into her 15 years later? So, like all of those different things. But for me, it was always just like, okay, this one's gone, or this one, whatever decision she made. All right, on to the next one. Day or two, oh man, that sucks. All right, what's next? But I never really felt rejected by that. And then as I've gotten older now, I think also rewind. I think also going through dating phases, it's kind of like what do you call it? Where you got like an ice sculpture, and you're kind of forming that sculpture. Yeah. Away all those things that's like, okay, no, I can't deal with that, or okay, yeah, I can handle this, but I can't handle this, or I've grown from this relationship, so I know that in the next relationship I ain't standing for this. Like if she does this, says this, acts this way, this ain't it's got to go, type thing. And then that transitions into when you're looking at someone, when you get to that point where you're like, okay, now I'm ready to make a long-term commitment as far as like marriage and stuff like that. You're looking from all those years that you've been chipping away, and now you got the one that you're like, okay, maybe I could see creating a family or creating something with this person. So I already got this stuff out of the way. Now I'm more refined in like what I'm looking at. So seeing that, I mean, because my wife, man, the 3 years that we dated before we got engaged, it was a whole lot of like, okay, what I'm looking at, like how are we gonna do this? And so same for her. So yeah, man, I to go back to your original question, sorry, I kind of went off on a rant, but go back to your original question. I don't know, I was never that type of feeling bad about breaking up or being rejected, or this girl didn't like me or anything like that. No, it helped me.
It helped you. And that's that's what's the word I'm trying to use? That's something that I can take with me, that it can help me, so I can look back at what didn't work and know what I want in the next one. Which I pretty much already started that already. I already seen, I'm already, and I'm like, it was the natural thing. It's like, no, I don't want to deal with that, type of thing. So I think that's important. But I want to ask you a question though, because a lot of times they say it has a link with how you were raised and parent household and everything. So I believe you told me that you had both your parents in your household, correct?
Yeah. Both of them growing up, they still together now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. Shout out to Q's parents.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my parents.
That's a blessing. How many years have they been married?
Man, I don't know. 30. Well, let me see. They got married because I was already born actually when they got married. I think I was 2. So if I'm correct, it's 35 years.
Wow.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Wow.
I would love to have a show where we have people who have been married that long, and then have a couple that's they can talk to us and give us advice, and then have a couple that's just starting to see the perspectives and the different things and advice they have. I think it would be a great show to talk about marriage. Oh my goodness, it would be. So let's see if your parents can come on. That would be a blessing.
Oh, my dad would love that. My dad would be all over that. My mom, she'd be a little hesitant. My dad would be like, let's go. Let's do it.
But I asked that question because they were saying this: the styles are based on how you were raised, and I guess it don't necessarily have to be a 2-parent household, but I guess it does depend on what you what you saw in your life, what happened. And for me, rejection was the biggest thing for me, and so I can understand where this comes from. It doesn't make. I used to think, well, this don't make me a good person. Like I'm just no, it's what happened to me, but I got to work on it. So that's the biggest thing. What about you, Mr. Beard?
I don't have any relationship horror stories, which is great.
Well, that's good.
I don't know, but I also know, and I've shared with you all, I'm recently divorced. And so you do learn something from being married for so long. You do, when you're combined with that person for a great deal of time. But no, even though no horror stories, even after that, we are both moved on and we're both in our own lanes, doing our own things. We co-parent with our children very well. So no horror stories, which is great. I don't have no, ain't got no marks on my face, that stuff. I ain't got it. I wish I had a cute story. I wish I had a cute story because it's like my stuff is light compared to that. I ain't got. I don't have
You
none
marked
of
for life.
but no. I think we've all been talking about a lot of good things. I think you do as you get older and as you go through relationships, just like as you go through a job or career or anything like that. You learn what you don't want, what you do want, what you're willing to tolerate, what you're not willing to tolerate. The biggest thing is with being in a relationship or dating, getting towards a relationship, is that you're merging two individuals and you bring them together to become one, like to live in the same space. And I say when you share the same air with somebody, that's how you know. That's how you know who that person is. Like when you roll up and work and wake up to that person, you're like, oh, you still here? So like that is the type of thing I think. Sharing a restroom, sharing the kitchen at the same time, all those type of things. And so you want to make sure that dating game, just some good advice, just that dating is that you recognize what you see and you acknowledge what you see, because it doesn't improve when you get married, that type of thing. Think that person, you kind of build who that person is, or you show who that person is along the way. And you hear a lot of people make mistakes like, "Oh, I thought I could change that person," or
Ooh, that's a big one.
I thought they would change once we got married." Nah, if anything, they get more comfortable and complacent. And so this would look. If you didn't like the fact that I didn't cook, and now I'm married, you think I'm a cook? I don't get that. I don't get
No.
that. Yeah, I'm not cooking. I'm even more allergic to cooking now than be now to be married, so that type of thing. So just looking at the warning signs, but also just spending your time when you're dating somebody and just and being intentional and being present. I think that's important. Like you gotta spend time, you gotta, invest in who you are with so you can see, what that would be, if you want it long term. And I think, especially at this age, where you're back on the dating scene and stuff like that, you ain't got time to waste. The time is ticking. The time is ticking. No, but like Q's dad, there's still plenty of people out there. There's still plenty of nice people out there. There's people that are genuine out there. Not everybody's on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook account, and I'm okay with saying that. And I'm tired of people walking up to me talking to me about what's on Facebook. I don't know what you're talking about.
And you gotta get rid of. You gotta get rid of.
People
That's
just
what.
walk up to me and be talking about, yeah, I can't believe she did such and such. I'm like, what? Who? Oh, you ain't seen it on Facebook? No, I did not. No.
I
I'm not
mean,
up there. But
I'm gonna
but you
bring
understand what I'm
something.
saying? Like, not. There are plenty of people out there for you to be connected with if that's what you so desire. But I go back to what Damon was saying too. You got to take the time to know yourself, love yourself, know who you are. You got to, if you can't articulate to the person that you're dating what you want and who you are, you don't need to be dating.
That's good. That's a good
I
nugget
like
there. I like that. That doctor spoke on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. And you know what? Make me think it made me think about the red flag question, right?
Yeah.
If this person, like you sitting here and you're asking this person certain questions about who they are, things like that, and they can't tell you, that's a red flag. Because they don't have enough self-awareness to acknowledge what they need to work on. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
Because what you think is going to happen if you get into a situation, argument, things like that, they're not going to have enough self-awareness to be able to like chisel down. Like, it made me think about what you said as far as you're chiseling, right? Hopefully you are doing that because you are, hopefully if you have the right mindset, right? And you are taking accountability for your actions. You are developing skill, but you can't
Right.
develop skill, and you're not going to develop any kind of perspective, right? You might see what you think you see in the other person, but reality is nobody's perfect, and that neither are you, right?
Yep.
So you are in a sense where you out here in the dating game. It's like, and even too in your marriage too. That development of skill doesn't stop. If you have some sense of self awareness, you're not perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
You always,
Yeah.
I think we all Christians right here, right? We all being sanctified, right? And we all have to we all need some self reflection here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I
Absolutely.
think that's very important. So if you sit in front of a person, they can't tell you as far as, anything about goals or perspective or, things that they would like to do. It's a red flag. That
Run.
means they don't know themselves
I
Run.
love
Run.
asking
Matter of
questions.
fact,
One of my famous
pay for the
questions is
bill and then run. Like, I got it. I got it.
yeah,
Come on.
one of my famous questions is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
even having an idea like, okay, I want to do this and that, I think it's important to ask. So I get it.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy to touch on that, because I agree with that 100%. I remember, man, because I asked my wife one time. We've been married almost 11 years, 11 or 12. I get it. She get mad at me because I'm like, I'm always like a year behind. I'm always a year behind.
You can see me cringing.
We've been married for years.
Yeah,
We've been married for more than a decade, something like that. We've been married more for
It's more, it's more than 10. It's more than
Yeah.
10, which is crazy to me to even think about that. But I had asked her one time what made her, just because of how she was raised, it was a very strategic. When you meet a guy, be very strategic about him and how you progress with him and all these other things. Very, very, very strict when it came to that type of thing. And I asked her recently, maybe like a year ago, so when I asked her, what made you go on a second date with me? And she said it was because on the first date, I asked her what her goals were and where she saw herself and how she felt she was growing and stuff like that. And keep in mind, this is at 23, 20, I don't know, 20, early 20s, which I thought was cool, because I didn't even realize I asked her that. I don't even remember asking her those types of questions. But for her to say that I asked her that showed me that through those dating years, I had been chiseling away at some things. And I knew, okay, if now I'm a maneuver, or now I'm gonna move into this relationship, these are the questions I need to ask, or these are the red flags that I need to be looking out for, and things like that. So that's why, you saying that, Damien, just made me think about that conversation I had with her recently. Well, a year ago, whatever it was.
All right. Well, we've just been having a discussion about, we just shooting the breeze, whatever comes to our mind about relationships. And I mean, we talked about dating relationships and taking a break. We talked about the red flags, and we kind of touch a little bit on this, and that's green flags. But I want to talk more about that. What are some green flags that says to you, that gives you the indication, okay, I want to keep this going. I think this is going to work. Because we talk about red flags all the time. What are some green flags we should look for? Anybody just want to just shoot it out? What the first thing that comes to mind?
I think at this point in life where I'm at now, someone who loves God, obviously, that's I think the number one thing. And I think that might be pretty cliche, quote unquote, maybe, but just this point in life that I'm in, that's the number one thing. Love God, pursue God above everything else. Like I'm down the line when it comes to that. But show me that you love God, you're after him, and not just, oh, I go to church on Sunday. That's, great, wonderful. You go to church on Sunday. And I'm not saying you got to be in church every day of the week. That's not what I'm saying. But that's not. But just you pray, you actually are going after God, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
That's number one. Me personally, that's a green flag. Two, you're man, I can't think of my words tonight. Goal oriented. Like you got something you're shooting for. You're going for it. And you're not just complacent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say 2 green flags for me that comes to mind is if they have parents, how do they treat their parents when they're around them? But 2, when we're going out to eat, how do they interact with the waitress? How do they treat them? How do they treat people when they're out? Like those things are important because if they're treating them a certain way or acting like they're all of that and all that kind of stuff, then you know that's a red flag. But if you see that they're treating them with respect and they doing this and that, that's a green flag. It's like, okay, very mannerable, very,
I like that, James. Okay, all right, you make a little sense, man.
Today. He's making sense today.
Forget all of you.
Today.
Forget you, and you. I will black this whole show out. Don't disrespect me. Who needs enemies when you got friends to do this, you know? But for real, for real, you need to look for that kind of stuff because it'll be a good indication. So,
yeah. I would
any
say,
green flags, Eric? I would love to hear some green flags from you, brother.
I'm gonna let Damien go since he started. Thank you so much.
It doesn't matter who started.
Go ahead, Damien.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Damien.
Whoever James say, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
We ain't got a budget. We determine who goes first.
Don't matter.
We ain't got a budget. We do what we want to do.
Oh, mess up the
I just
flow.
muted Eric. You can go ahead. His mic is muted. Go ahead.
Okay. Two green flags. That person has the ability to like listen, hear, and the ability to empathize. Because I think it's important. Like when you in a relationship, it's important that you guys get on the same understanding. So that person has to have the ability. You got to have the ability to put yourself in other people's shoes when they, when you hear things, and they have to too. Because I think in relationships, like you're constantly, you're trying to understand. I think the biggest conflict is misunderstanding in relationships, and so it's like it's a battle sometimes. It's work trying to get on the same understanding, right? And I think oftentimes, I think things that keep us from doing that is not having the ability to listen or empathize. So I think that's really important. So that's a green flag for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eric?
Am I unmuted? Why'd you put a mute on me, bro? Why'd you do that?
Because you would be disrespectful.
Well,
you gonna sit there and tell you gonna sit there.
That's petty to be muting me.
No, how you do? We give him a compliment, and that's what happened.
Don't disrespect me. Okay, go ahead.
And it's showing up on my screen. You've been muted.
Let me be clear. I didn't hear Damien
like I'm
speak
5.
at all.
You in timeout.
Let me be clear,
bro.
I didn't even hear Damien speak. So you come at me, and I didn't even hear him speak.
Here we go. I would say some green flags. I would definitely chime in on what he was saying about someone that loves God, being present with God. I don't consider myself a biblical scholar, like I can't recite every verse in the Bible like a lot of people can. But do you have a relationship with God? Do you pray? You have to be able to pray. You have to be able to pray with me. Like we have to be able to pray together. Like that's a unionized thing. And being able to know that when we are struggling or when we feel like we need someone other than each other, can we pray to God? So I think that was it. Also, the goal-oriented piece, I think that's important. I don't want to slouch. I don't want somebody just sitting around because also you got to think about the people that you have in your space are the ones that push you. And so I don't want to reciprocate any negative, lazy energy, and guess what? And I like to eat and I like to eat well. And so I don't want somebody out here that's like, yeah, what you doing? No, what are we doing? So what we doing? What are we doing today? Like and I don't want to leave the house your feet propped up. Like we're not doing that. And I would say the third thing would be somebody who's intentional. I think anytime you spend, everybody's busy. Everybody has a lot of things going on. But when you are with that person on a date, especially dating, when you're thinking about getting into a long-term relationship with them, can they show you that they have the ability to put their phone down? Tony always has his phone in
Wait
his
a
hand.
minute. Hold
I'm
on.
telling you, it's the most disgusting thing. It's one of the most disgusting qualities about Tony.
Let me
But we're
say
not talking
something.
about Tony.
I'm not
But I'm
dating
just
you. Though.
saying,
That's
like,
the thing. I'm not.
if
If
you're
I'm
in a
dating
relationship,
somebody,
I
if
wish
I'm
I could
dating
mute
somebody,
you. I wish
if
I could
I'm
mute
dating,
you.
let me just say this.
I wish I could mute you.
If I'm dating somebody, then that's what I would my phone down. If not, then go ahead.
James, you gotta.
Tacky.
If you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready, right? So you gotta practice putting the phone down like all the
There
time.
you
You know what I'm saying?
go.
You don't carry that into the
Hey,
relationship
James, you
scenario. You know
practice
what
the
I'm
way
saying?
you play. You practice the way you play.
Exactly, right?
No, it's a difference. I see the difference. If I'm on a date, of course, I would have a problem if somebody has a phone when I'm on a date. But I'm hanging with my friends. Come on now.
No, I'm just talking about
that's
like
the problem.
But seriously, like if the person you're dating cannot use some intentional time, like it's not gonna get any better. Like I think that's important to be able, because you have to be able to know that person. I think, and sometimes it's not an interview when you're on a date. Like it's some genuine conversation, and some genuine points to come up. And so if I can't be intentional with you, you can't be intentional with me. How are we gonna get to build and know each other? Because it's not like, like some of the things about the goals and that type of thing, I may say I want to ask about that, but there may be some other things I want to ask about based on the intentional time and intentional conversation that we're having.
I will say that I do agree with it. I know we're planning or whatever, but I actually do agree with Eric. I think intentionality is so important because if you're not intentional, it's just not going anywhere. You want things to happen naturally, but it can't happen if I'm holding my phone and I'm doing other things. And I'm gonna tell you, he's a stickler for that. Even in our friendship, he's a stickler for that. And okay, sometimes I may have it more than I need to, but yeah, it's important. I really agree with you on that, brother.
Yes.
James, don't let me find out it ain't working because you up there like this. You up there like this. That's why it ain't working.
I love you, brother. I love all my brothers. Whatever. That has a lot to do with my job too. I gotta keep abreast of what's going on around me too. So I'll use that excuse.
Yeah,
that's what it is, an excuse.
But for real though, I think though in relationships, a lot of that is going on where we see a lot of people on their phones because the phones has taken over. you somebody on a date, they're all in the phones, they're not looking at each other, not talking, and not having genuine conversation. And like Eric said, sometimes we don't have to do an interview. We can just have a natural conversation. We might talk about, oh, what happened at work today, or you see what happened in the news, or have a discussion. You kind of learn people from there and their perspective on things. I think it's so important to be well-rounded in that. So yeah. And speaking of that, we were talking. I want to put this in there real quick. Well, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know, but it's dealing with relationship. No, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to let it go. It's one of those trending stories that's going on right now, but I think we're just going to let it go. And what we're going to do is real quickly, we're going to have a little mental health checkup real quick, and we're going to go ahead and end the show. So, how's everybody doing? Pretty well.
Look, I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been having a tough weekend, and it's because of the kids driving me crazy this weekend. These little jokers, man, got me feeling like I need to leave, go somewhere.
And this is the best time of the year for educators, because I told you all the principal. And let me tell you, we're going to release them back to you like 1,000 doves, like 1,000 doves, or like a swarm of bees or something. Like let them go, they go back.
Man, yeah, I know y'all excited, man.
Great. I love this time of year. Oh, we love your children, but guess what? You can now have them back. Your grocery bill going up, power bill going up.
Yeah.
You gonna leave them in the house. You gonna leave them there. You walk out the house. You leave them there. They're coming back.
Yeah, some of my clients are teachers, man. They've been saying the same thing, man. They like, we count the days. Count the
down the days, bro.
Yes, sir. So I ain't mad at y'all, man. Not at all.
Well, you're feeling it this weekend. So you've been feeling it. From all sides.
Man. Yeah, this is tough because it's a combination of a lot of things. It's my wife keeps saying that it's not really the kids, it's everything else. It's the business and trying to make sure we hitting certain numbers, and we're gaining members or losing members or trying to put all these different things together. It's I don't sleep well. Like it takes me a long time to actually fall asleep. And I'm a very, very light sleeper. So any sounds, any movement, anything like that, I wake up. So I don't sleep well. And kids being kids, I mean, they're kids. So they're going to be kids. They're going to be loud. They're going to bicker. They're going to tattletale. They're going to do that. They're going to be kids. So the kids being kids. And then, we live with my in-laws right now because I think I was telling you guys previously, we're trying to get the gym to a point to where we can do certain things, make certain money moves and stuff like that. So we're with our with my in-laws, and it's the space for the amount of people doesn't match. Mm-hmm. And so, we got them as one family, us as one family, but they're in-laws, so they're the grandparents, so they think and expect to do certain things.
Yes.
So all of that stuff combined with speaking of my daughter right here. So all of those things combined are what thank you. Sorry, y'all. Yes, you can. So all of those things combined, I think, have
and I'll just tell you from the parental side, my oldest is 19 and just finished his first year in college.
Okay.
Wait
Congratulations.
a minute. Congratulations.
My youngest is 12 going on 13. We got several things, but we can't get a budget to pay for the quiz.
You gonna start up again? One thing at a time, brother. Oh, you going in tonight?
Out of the blue. But I'm just telling you, like,
hey, I got some surprises.
Especially the child piece. Like when you start to see the fruits of your labor, like it's beautiful on the other side.
Gotta get there. Older.
Like right now.
Yeah.
It ain't, but yeah. I can definitely feel you just from. And I'm just going to do mine since I'm talking. Just
talk over. Go ahead.
Mental health check-in. The mental health check-in. Just been really trying to like eat well, exercise, going out. Like the other day, I didn't feel like working out. I just went for a walk. So it is. I'm back in that space, and I'm at my best when I'm in that space. Like. I feel as though when I do a morning workout or a walk in the morning or something like that, the creative juices flow. My mind is clear, and I think about, and I end up analyzing every aspect of my life, whether it's who I'm connected with, who I share space with, the energy that I give to a situation, not give to a situation. I make a lot of life decisions on those walks and stuff in the morning, and so that has just been a commitment of mine to get up to work out. Even if it's not a good workout, I get up to work out. And I always feel better at the end. And just really controlling who or what I give my energy to. That's the space I'm in. And it's been going well. So I've been no complaints on my front.
Yeah, I like that, brother. I like that. I guess I can go ahead and say something real quick. For me, I am going through a grief situation right now, and I'm just going through that. Got the highs, I got the lows, and I'm feeling what I feel, but I know what I know at the end of the day. I gotta feel this stuff. I can't just suppress it. But at the end of the day, I know that God's got me, and I'm gonna come through stronger than ever. And that's pretty much all I can say. And I'm gonna say this too, like I gotta put my brother out here. My brother Eric, I gotta say that we play all the time, but I love this guy. This guy has really been there through this situation that I've been through, and I appreciate you, man. I gotta say that. I gotta say it publicly. I appreciate you.
And I don't really like you, so
I can't say it. I can't say it.
No, I just want you to understand. Like
God said, I have to be
it's me trying to get into heaven. It's my
God. That's what it is for me too. Okay.
What earthly deposits can I put in? Because I want to be able to walk in heaven. I want to be able to.
Say. I'm sitting there telling him I appreciate him. He can go with his.
But I mean it, like from the bottom of my heart. I don't like you, so
I don't like
I
you
want you to know. It's love. Like love sometimes overtakes. Like you don't like me, brother. My feelings hurt. I want to God. I don't like reasons here.
Almost said Dollface. You gonna get me started.
Eric, don't worry about it, man. I tell him the same thing, man.
Eric, on his side, because at the end of the day, I appreciate all you guys because every last one of y'all have been significant in my life. But forget audience at this point, because that's move on to the next one. Damien.
Okay, yeah. I thought she was gonna forget about me. I was gonna have to jump on the bandwagon.
No, bro, I ain't gonna forget about
you. Nah, man, just everything's been good, man. I've been staying in the gym, staying on my morning routine. I like to do my morning walks and meditation, stuff like that. Like my prayer walks, it pretty much sets the day off. But man, I've been doing a lot of I'm not a personal trainer. I spend a lot of time in the gym. Over here in Tijuana. Me and my wife live in Tijuana. My family, we live in Tijuana. And it's been pretty interesting, man. My Spanish is getting better because a lot of people will try to ask me questions about, techniques in the gym and stuff like that. And so I've been able to do that. And I really enjoy seeing people's progress and teaching them and stuff like that. And like I said, the trade-off here is being able to really get better at my Spanish. So that's been pretty cool. And that aligns, with what I believe my purpose is as far as helping people. I'm really passionate about health. I'm really passionate about it. I feel like, I know that whatever we do physically, it doesn't just stay there. Yeah. And in fact, it's a spiritual. I love the gym because I learn things about the gym. I tell people all the time, you got to come in with the kind of mentality. And when you're trying to do something that you haven't done before, as far as getting in shape, you have to believe that you can do it in the first place. You're going to face a lot of self-doubt, so that's and you're not going to reap any reward without putting the work in. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Right. So you can take that principle, you can apply that to life. You know what I'm saying? So I love the gym because of that, but I'm really passionate about health because I believe it affects multiple areas, and you have one body. You got a purpose on this life, in this life and on this earth. Well, you have one vessel to do that with. You got two hands, two eyes, right? You got two legs, right? So you want your health to serve you, and not to be, the thing that gets in the way of you doing that. Right. So I tell people all the time, if you want to start with some kind of self-improvement, start with the body first. Then we look at other areas and we go from there. So yeah.
I like that, man. That's good. And I mean, every last one of you guys are big on health. And I think that's a discussion that we have to have too, as well as men taking care of ourselves and doing what we got to do. I especially want to pick your brains on that. So, expertise. But hey, that's the end of our show. I thank you guys for chilling with me again. I appreciate you. Even the smart mouths.
We made it.
And the budget is coming when it gets a good rating. Glory, hallelujah.
Thank you, Lord.
But with all that said, thank you guys for watching. Remember, you can always send an email out to us at lockedinshow@outlook.com if you have any questions or comments, or you can just leave a message in the comment below on your YouTube page and let us know how you feel. Even the Facebook page, leave a message. Come on, let's interact. Let's talk about this. Let us know some ideas. Give us some ideas of what do you want to talk about, because we're here for you. We want to have these conversations for us as well. It feeds us, but it also feeds you. So what do you want us to talk about? What do you have a question about? How is relationships with you? Any red flags to happen with you? Any green flags you want us to know about? We want to talk about it. So please leave those comments where you can. So anybody else? Everybody good? All right. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again next month.
Peace.